We have Florence Laborn. She is the Future of TV head analyst at EDOT, and I think we'll talk a lot about, or Florence will let us know a lot about some of the big game changers out there and how it's going to impact us over the next 7-8 years. Florence will also provide her assessment on how these things will impact the value chain for all of us, everyone in this industry. So without further ado, let me introduce Florence. And Florence, you can take it away.
Thank you, Bruce. Hello to all of you. Very glad to be here with you today. Thanks to Paul and all your team for your very kind invitation. So just maybe to begin with some words about EDOT. I don't know if you are all familiar with EDOT, which means Institute for the Audiovisual and Telecommunication in Europe. We are a consulting company based in Montpellier, which is quite rare in the world of the consulting. We are specialized in all the sectors dedicated to audiovisual, internet, and telecommunication, and we have been created in 1977. So we are 40 years old this year. So it's our anniversary, our birthday. We also are a European think tank. We gather 68 members from the audiovisual world, the telecom world. A lot of people from France and outside France. And we also develop a broad catalogue of market reports, including more than 10 yearly reports dedicated to TV and video. And as an observatory of the digital world, we regularly propose to our members and to our clients our vision of the future of the TV world. And in particular, we developed in one of our market reports some scenarios for the future of television, and I would like today to share our vision of this future with you. So I will try to explain these 4 scenarios. Maybe just before giving you this overview on our 4 scenarios, just some words about the way we're developing the scenarios, and maybe it's not very original, but of course we try to observe all the trends currently happening in the market environment, regulatory trends, technological trends, consumer habits, and so on. We try to put everything in one big bottle to check this bottle and try to see what we can make with all these trends before arriving to these 4 scenarios. So our key findings are that in developed countries, as you all know, and I won't spend a lot of time on this part, the audiovisual sector is experiencing a period of relative stagnation, is not decreasing in some countries, which will probably be a long-term and therefore lead to many challenges for players, as you all know, in this ecosystem. And if internet is the major cause of disruption, there are of course many factors at play. One of these factors is probably the regulatory choices. As you know, in particular in Europe for the moment, we're experiencing some major changes in the market regulatory environment. The confirmation of net neutrality, linear and non-linear services, which will not be regulated in the same way, but are quite close now. Another point is the heterogeneous global growth. The emerging markets are clearly driving the growth, which is quite new in this environment. Of course, IT is playing an increasing role in video distribution, which is, like Bruce said previously, quite new. Some years ago, if we have imagined that SFR or Orange in France would have been some major market players in the TV environment, people would have think that we are just crazy. And it's not at all the case now. They are big game changer and main players in the audiovisual sectors. You all know the role of cloud in the audiovisual, the growth of streaming, of course. the role of consuming data and the analysis of this data. As you mentioned also previously, the significant increase of personalized video consumption with on-demand consumption, multi-screen, TV as a service. And of course, as a result of all these changes, linear TV is changing. It is becoming a kind of showcase for programs, kind of multi-format consumption hub, and with streaming becoming increasingly common in this environment. So the market is facing a new competitive situation with the increasingly influential internet sectors, with pure players quickly establishing themselves in the market, of course Netflix, Amazon, so on, accentuating the phenomenon of disintermediation of established players. Something quite reassuring for people from the producing part of the value chain is that content is king and will be king for a long time in front of us, but its ownership is crucial. And we all see for the moment an increasing competition for the exclusive premium content, in particular for sports rights, but also for cinema series and so on. And right prices are soaring in this environment, so new people are entering in this market also to finance original production. Another major point is a phenomenon of concentration. Both horizontal, vertical concentration in this market, driven in particular by the restructuring of the telecom operators and the race for control of content. We also observe new forms of monetization, which are appearing in an environment where pay TV is experiencing downward pressure due to the polarization between premium on the one hand and low cost on the other hand. The importance also of the role of service bundles between telecom services and media services in a broad sense, including TV, radio, music, press, and so on, gaming also. And the development of programmatic advertising, which will probably have a major role in the financing of the market in the following years, and also the development of the freemium model, so the mix of free content and pay for content. Of course, there are a lot of fundamental uncertainties which are fueling also these potential scenarios. Will the current regulations be kept? Is a new European framework adapted to future market changes? Will it make it possible for new competitors to emerge in this market? What impact will regional and net neutrality regulatory changes have? Will those countries witnessing strong economic growth follow a classic catch-up curve or quickly switch to disruptive consumption patterns, such as mobile, like we can observe in some African market, for example? Will virtualization technology eventually become a standard also? Will data become the core of the system in terms of recommendation and monetization? How personalized will video consumption be? How key a player will the consumer be in the ecosystem? Will video consumption be driven by social platforms pushing new content formats? And will the audiovisual sector experience globalization within an oligopolistic market? So a lot of uncertainties, and with all of these elements, we try to imagine what the future, I won't say will be, but maybe can be. Of course, we do not pretend to have a kind of crystal ball, and I am totally unable to tell you, okay, tomorrow the future will be this one, and you have to do this. I would love to make it, as you can imagine, but of course I won't be so confident in my own feeling. The idea of this exercise, in fact, is mainly to give you some elements just to react. I won't tell you that tomorrow the disruptive scenario will be the main one, or the convergent scenario will be the main one, but of course the future will be composed with some elements of all of these scenarios, but it's just to have a framework to think within this framework. So we developed 4 scenarios, the trend scenarios. Not too difficult to imagine what it could be. We take the current trends and try to imagine what will happen if we follow this path. The convergent scenarios, so a world in which telecom operators and media companies will have fully merged and work all together. Something very different with a disruptive one, in which everything we know currently will almost disappear, and the main market player won't be anymore the TV channels or the content producers we know now, but this new name from the internet world. And maybe something more positive for the TV industry, the syndication scenario, in which TV channels, content producers work together and develop some new way of working and proposing content to the consumer. So I will try to give you more details for each of these scenarios. To begin with, the more easy one, the trend scenario. This one assumes that the recent trends will continue. In this scenario, the major determining factors are stable. On-demand consumption of audiovisual services continues to grow without destabilizing the linear market. We observe a kind of regulatory statu quo, which maintains a local approach to markets. And finally, we see a steady rise in influence of OTT players. In terms of regulation, the broadcast and OTT regulatory regimes move closer to each other but remain differentiated. In terms of consumption habits, linear TV consumption will decline progressively, but it remains central in this scenario. This is to say that the OTT consumption will develop, but not so quickly. In terms of technology, broadcast will still have a dominant role in this world, in particular for free linear TV. And of course, on-demand services will be there and will be distributed over the open internet, not on the managed internet as we can know it in France, for example. In terms of product offerings, TV channels will refocus on events programming and continue to invest in non-linear. This is to say that they will develop some kind of big catalog mixing linear and non-linear content with this double approach in terms of distribution. And probably on-demand services will become more concentrated. That is to say that in some countries you have a lot of on-demand services developing. Probably you won't have room for everybody, so they will have to merge so that we have a more concentrated market. And in terms of monetization, the pay TV market will be quite fragmented between premium approach on the one hand and low-cost services on the other hand. For the French people, in fact, it's already the case with Canal Plus and its premium offer on the one hand, and the low-cost offer of Canal Plus on the other hand, and of course all the other channels like beIN Sports, SFR Sports, and so on. TV advertising will remain very influential in this scenario, with, in particular, the growth, quite tremendous growth in programmatic TV. In this market, we think that the market will globally growing. with a quite reasonable speed, around 2.4% growth on average. A point to stress is the fact that the linear TV revenue will still increase in this scenario, which will not be the case in the other ones we will see after that. But this growth will be driven primarily by emerging countries. In fact, in the European countries and in the USA, we will observe a kind of flat growth. Maybe another point also on the consequences for traditional players. As I mentioned, we will have a concentration of the OTT players on the one hand, but also on the traditional TV market. We will have a few large distributors sharing the subscription TV market. The number of TV channels will decrease, in particular for special interest TV channels. The good news is that the audience will be focused on small groups of channels. And because of this, the TV channels will find room for maneuver on the advertising market. And as I said also previously, distributors and channels will manage to link non-linear services and traditional linear services to propose a kind of a broad approach to their content. Something very different and maybe quite scary, the disruption scenario. So in this scenario, personalized video consumption will predominate with more uniform consumer tastes on a global scale. So it won't be local markets, but a kind of global market in the sense of Netflix with the same content developed throughout the world. The barriers to worldwide content distribution will have collapsed. Along with local content regulations. Global players controlling content rights have appeared in this scenario. They may arise either from major internet players, such as Netflix, Amazon, Alibaba, because of course Chinese and maybe also Brazilian or Indian companies will have emerged in this scenario. So these major internet players who control the technology and supply of original content will have an international customer base, which is not very frequent in our regular television world. In a somewhat different example, Apple uses its devices also to distribute audiovisual content in a more integrated way than it is doing currently. On the other hand, the major viral platforms and social networks complement the range of services with a blend of premium and professionalized user-generated content. So this scenario implies an oligopolistic OTT video market at the global level, so something very different from what we currently experience. In terms of regulation, this scenario implies that we apply strictly the net neutrality. It implies also that competition between countries to attract services to their territory will increase. So the services will be able to benefit from the best possible conditions, including tax, what we observe for the moment when Netflix tries to localize its services in a favorable market. In terms of consumption habits, of course, personalized consumption will be the rule, and video sharing will also develop. This is to say that you will not trust your traditional TV brand, but your own friend who will share with you their favorite content. So, of course, video on demand grows strongly. And even live events will be on OTT players, what we can observe from the moment on some specific sport events, in particular in the USA, but probably Facebook, Twitter, and so on will develop these habits of buying live sport events to propose them to their consumer on OTT platforms. So maybe tomorrow you will not see the Champions League, for example, on Canal Plus or beIN Sport, or even the free-to-air channels, but on Facebook or Twitter, or maybe Netflix, even if for the moment they claim that they won't invest in sport, but maybe it will be very different within 10 years. In terms of technology, of course, in an OTT world, IP will be widespread for all networks, and streaming will predominate for all networks also. And data will have a central role in this environment. You will, of course, need to well know your customers so as to be able to propose to them the most suitable content. In terms of product offerings, internet giants will buy global rights and no more localized content. Individual range of services is pushed to its maximum in line with the consumer demand. And video will become more social and consumers will be active in this aspect. So we will not see people waiting on their sofa, but playing a great role and be really engaged in their consumption and their ability to share this content. Of course, this disruptive scenario will not be very favorable to the current market leaders, so the market value will decrease. On the one hand, on-demand service revenues will replace linear service revenues. Advertising revenue from on-demand services through targeted advertising will rise at the expense of linear advertising revenue. SVOD revenue will also rise at the expense of pay TV revenue. You will replace your current pay TV subscription by an SVOD service. And in parallel, individual subscription and transactional video on demand will be important components also. On the other hand, prices of on-demand services influence the price of linear services, leading to an automatic drop in the market value of linear services. In fact, we try to observe this kind of trend in the UK, in France, for example, where the development of Now TV for Sky and the OTT service of Canal Plus push down the price of the traditional pay TV services. Catch-up TV advertising rates will be lower than linear TV rates. Subscription rates for SVOD will be lower than pay TV rates. And VOD program rates will be lower than DVD program rates. So, of course, it's not a wonderful world that I try to describe to you with this scenario, but the risk is real, and I think that it's important to highlight the fact that maybe all the consumption won't migrate on the OTT world, but it's a major risk for all the industry, the traditional TV industry, to see the value going somewhere else than in the traditional market leaders. So in this scenario, we will observe a low growth for the global market, an average of 1.1% over the period. The growth will be driven primarily by emerging countries, but the US markets, the 5 major European countries, and most of the European countries will observe a decrease of the value. When you take linear plus OTT markets, we will have a negative development of these revenues in these major countries. So something maybe more interesting, let's say, for the industry, the convergence scenario. So for consumer, TV, internet, telecom bundled offerings will predominate in this scenario. They enable better prices to be offered and provide a complete range of linear TV and on-demand services. Multi-screen consumption, fixed and mobile, is pushed by one or many, depending on the country's operators, providing permanent connectivity to a range of services. So in this scenario, relaxation of the rules regarding concentration and vertical integration allow large integrated media telecom groups to be formed, which is not the case for the moment in some countries. Integrated connectivity operators can also discriminate traffic to benefit their own OTT video offering, which is for the moment not possible in the European countries or in the USA in theory. In terms of consumption habits, we will have a widespread multi-screen consumption in and outside the home. For the moment, it's not possible, neither in some European countries, to be able to consume on a multi-screen basis one-on content outside the home. But we will have more captive consumers because they will be tied with their traditional telecom operators. In terms of technological impacts, we will observe a convergence of fixed and mobile technologies. Of course, streaming will be everywhere. In terms of product offerings, we will have what we call all-you-can-eat services with some exclusive contents, TV, video, music, newspapers, books, and so on. Like SFR tried to do it in France for the moment. And they will be developed mainly by telecom operators and probably also by cable operators, even if they are merging also. Linear TV and OTT services, both live and on-demand OTT services, will coexist in response to consumer demand for diversified and premium content. And the offering will include connectivity and home management services. So something which will be quite broad, which include a lot of things. So people will have one contact point and will deal with their telecom operators mainly to access to all these services. In this scenario, premium content will still have high value, which is not the case in the previous scenarios. But the premium content will be consumed more à la carte and not always included in some subscription services. On-demand services from multiplayer operators who have invested in content will grow strongly, and they will coexist with OTT offerings. In this scenario, in terms of development of the market value, we observe a quite positive trend for the global market. That is to say that the market will grow on an average 2.5% per year until 2025. But the linear TV revenue will be quite flat, and the increase will mainly come from the OTT services. The consequence for the traditional players, the number of acquisitions increases in favor of the market leaders, who are usually born of mergers on a global scale between cable operators and telecom operators. We see ongoing concentration in Europe and in the United States mainly. This concentration also involves mergers between telecom and media players. We have the example of Sky with its broadband acquisition, of course AT&T with DirecTV, AT&T again with Time Warner, NBC and Comcast NBC Universal previously. TV channels and TV packages are therefore often more marginalized with regard to access to consumers. And these companies therefore shift towards B2B offerings for distributors. In terms of TV content, exclusivity becomes essential to differentiate within a more oligopolistic market composed of a few pan-regional groups. And this trend is initially favorable to leading content producers and to sport leagues also. However, an oligopolistic market could ultimately have a negative effect on prices. If you have less market players, maybe the price will be down, I don't know when, but maybe within 10 years we will observe a decrease of the sports rights, which will not be a good news for the sport leagues, but probably a good news for the consumers. But we will maybe meet in 10 years to see if it's come true or not. So the syndication scenario, the last one, this one is the most cooperative. It is in fact similar to how local television stations are affiliated with national networks in the United States. So in this scenario, television companies could become affiliated with large national and regional entertainment operators, relying on the common core of content they provide, and they will provide market expertise, relationships to national advertisers, local programming, their brands, their customers in exchange of this affiliation. In terms of regulation, this implies that TV channels are able to own the rights to the programs they broadcast, which is not fully the case, in particular in France. The content rights will be multi-regional, not fully global, not only national, but a kind of multi-regional base. Therefore, the major upheaval occurs in the contractual component with the growth of simplified rights on a regional basis. In terms of consumption habits, on-demand consumption grows strongly, but it is centered on TV programs. So there are less room for OTT services, but we stay focused on the traditional TV programs. Linear broadcasts become a showcase for audiovisual content consumed on demand, via recording, catch-up, for example, with complementary content recommendation. And of course, seamless consumption of TV everywhere services will be possible, even abroad. So we hope that new European regulation will ease this seamless consumption even abroad. In terms of product offerings, we will assist to the creation of linear and on-demand audiovisual content packages by TV publishers in syndication. They will, in fact, we run their content between syndicated partners. TV channels and internet platforms will probably merge, and they will create either new operators, like on the example of Hulu, for example, we have also new models emerging, like Molotov TV in France. In terms of technology, we will have kind of hybridization of systems, encouraging linear and non-linear synergies for services, and we will have to standardize all the solution to make it possible. In terms of growth, this scenario is quite favorable to the market, since we expect a growth of 3.2% per year over the period, and both linear TV revenues and on-demand revenues will increase in this scenario, but linear TV will have a major growth in this scenario. So thank you very much for your listening. Sorry for this quite long presentation. I hope it was nevertheless clear enough, and I will be very pleased to share with you all our thoughts about it. Thank you very much.